One of the perks of running a bike shop and cycling tours business is getting the chance to travel and build dream bike trips with local experts. I've recently come back from one of our newest gravel tours we're offering in Colombia, and I was absolutely blown away by the riding, by the hospitality, by the food, and also just the wildness of the place. This might be the first tour we've offered where you can take a canoe with a bike down a tropical river. In this video, I'm going to tell you about one day of our crazy gravel adventure in the Colombian jungle. Hey there everyone, my name is Louise and I'm one of the founders of Eat Sleep Cycle, a bike shop and tours operator based in Girona, Spain. If you want tips about travelling with your bike in Spain and abroad, then hit that subscribe button. So first, any good day on a bike begins with coffee. Colombia is known for its coffee beans, and there's nothing quite like a fresh coffee made from the country of origin itself. This particular coffee was a tinto, a filter coffee, served up at our hotel in Nápoles. If Nápoles is ringing a bell, it's where Pablo Escobar built his country estate and accidentally populated the jungle with hippos. It's part of Colombia's dark history that many locals want to distance themselves and the country from, but a hippo outside the hotel made for a cool photo op. Coffee drunk and breakfast arepas eaten, it was time to saddle up and head south. In contrast to the cool, fresh, hilly previous day, this was a lovely, flat, hot, humid jungle farmland. Horses, long-horned cows, crazy-looking birds. The wildlife got more and more exotic as we headed down the river. So 20 k's later, we saw our target, the Rio Miel, tributary of the great Rio Magdalena. The track hugged the river through to the town of San Miguel. Anyone familiar with 100 Years of Solitude will recognise the spirit of Macondo in the earth streets and colourful homes. So we all regrouped at the bar and things were looking good. We got Colombian pop, our guides all got Coke Zeros, we had some snacks. Sadly, the river was too high to cross. The vehicles couldn't get on the ferry because they wouldn't be able to get off the other side. So we just had to wait it out. So an hour later, the river was still too high and we decided that actually we needed to keep moving. So our guides had spotted some little canoes and we went to make friends with the owner. And sooner or later, we were all piled into the little tiny boat and crossing the river. So if anyone's ever tried to carry a bike onto a tiny canoe, they'll know that it's actually quite challenging. And it was a little bit rocky and the river was very fast flowing. But luckily, we were all in really good spirits and having the best time ever. So on the opposite bank of the river, a steep climb awaited us, which was also quite muddy and slippy because of the rain the night before. What really struck me here was the really loud cicadas. I felt like I was in the Disneyland Jungle Book. It was epic. We got over the hill, coming down the other side, and then I came face to face with this enormous buffalo, which I wasn't expecting in Colombia. I don't know where they come from, but there was this huge buffalo in the path. So it was time for our final regroup, and we had to regroup here because only Esteban knew the way to the hotel. It's actually a not mappable area. So we followed Esteban further and deeper into the jungle, all signs of life disappearing around us, and the track came to a stop at the river. So now it was time to get back in the river and go and find the hotel. So we travelled down the river to the Hotel La Cachaza, which is this series of beautiful bamboo cabins sort of dotted around on the riverside. And it's literally in the middle of nowhere. So the owners got Wi-Fi like last year, the mains electricity just got connected. But it really is, you really are in the absolute middle of nowhere. A really cool thing about this place is they have a fridge full of Club Colombia beer. So we all chilled out, we had a beer, we watched a giant black iguana lollop across the floor. And then it was time to get back in the boats for a river adventure. So this time there was no bikes allowed. So it was just us in the boats and we had a beautiful packed lunch. So we stopped to see this, quite frankly, huge tree, the biggest tree I've ever seen in my life. And then we pulled in at another little cove to have our lunch, which was, they call it a fiambre. It's wrapped up in banana leaves and it's full of like delicious slow cooked chicken, rice, sausages, and it's just really, really, really delicious. So after we were refueled, we continued up the river to our destination, which was a beautiful waterfall. And we all jumped in, we went swimming and we hung out and had a lovely time. What was quite funny is on the way back, the river had turned to whitewater rapids. It was quite an adventurous journey home. And last but not least, because this is the day that just didn't stop giving, it was one of the most incredible days of my life. We went to see monkeys at night as the sun was setting along the river. And they're beautiful like red monkeys and they're perched on bamboo trees like hanging across the river. And it was honestly one of the most beautiful days on a bike and on a boat that I've ever had. And that was just one day of the gravel trip. Definitely unforgettable. If you're interested in booking your own gravel tour in Colombia or have questions, reach us through the links below or check out this video about tips you should know before cycling in Colombia.